Thank you very much with the latest updates that you are gathering at this point of time. Now, from there, we shift our focus to more developments. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Brazil for the 17th BRICS Summit. As the fourth leg of his five-nation tour, PM Modi is also scheduled to take part in the bilateral agreements with Brazil. On the visit, India's ambassador to Brazil had earlier confirmed that India and Brazil are expected to sign 4 agreements or the MoUs, the memorandums of understanding. The MoUs will cover renewable energy, counter-terrorism, agriculture research, cooperation and the exchange and mutual production of confidential information. These are very strategic and key and crucial areas where India and Brazil jointly aim to also find solutions to the complex issues of regional instability as well. Remember, the Indian ambassador to Brazil earlier presented credentials to Brazil's President Lula and also discussed deepening of bilateral strategic partnership right ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Brazil. Well, in fact, viewers, this is a very strategic moment where there is enough focus on enhancing regional stability in the areas of India in partnership with Brazil. Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, who is a former diplomat, is joining me live on the telecast. Appreciate you joining me live this morning, sir. Very good morning to you. And now we look at Prime Minister Narendra Modi attending the 17th BRICS Summit. While there is also a larger sentiment of understanding the importance of and significance of BRICS emerging as a very strong grouping consisting of, voicing the concern for even measures calling for the terrorism as well. But at the same time, India and Brazil, which are looking at enhancing their regional partnership. And at a national level as well, India is aiming to sign MoUs in many sectors. How do you look forward as far as, going ahead with Brazil's relationship and association with India is concerned from this point of time, as far as BRICS as a summit, as a platform is being utilized?
Thank you very much, for asking me to come on your channel again and discuss this important visit of the Indian Prime Minister to Brazil. As you very rightly said, this visit has various dimensions, and the two important dimensions are that, first of all, it's a state visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Brazil after about more than 5.5 decades, which is a long time by any reckoning. So it sort of adds a lot of importance and significance to the visit, because these two are very important countries of the global south, and these two leaders are very important leaders of the global south. During India's tenure of BRICS chairmanship, we had expanded the membership significantly. Now, this is continuing. More members are keen to join. Indonesia has also joined recently. So let me first deal with the bilateral aspects, which are also very important, because which are being handled by our ambassador on the ground. The ambassador Dinesh Bhatia, he's an outstanding officer. We have worked together in Nepal, and I've known him for a long time. So the 4 agreements which are going to be signed in Brazil are very, very important. Because first of all, you have the agreement on renewable energy, which for both countries holds significance, because we both have a lot of sun, we have a lot of wind, we have a lot of space where we can access the sea for the tidal energy. So it is taking place in Rio de Janeiro, which is already on the sea. So to sign an agreement on that, which is India has become a leader in generation of renewable energy. We have had a quantum leap since the time in 2015 or 2016, when Prime Minister had organized the Global Renewable Energy Summit in Delhi, when a lot of organizations, companies, corporations from all over the world had come and pledged significant amount of investments in India for the global energy sector, renewable energy sector. And that has now come into realization, and India has become one of the major leaders. Secondly, in terms of the solar energy, India had created the Global Council, the International Solar Alliance in Paris during one of the COP meetings. And that headquarters is based in India. So that was one of the first few headquarters of any global entity which was based in India after 75, 80 years, which is quite a shame because India being such a prominent country had no headquarters of any UN agency or any other global agency for a very long time. So now we have two. Now, renewable energy is going to be an important aspect. Then counterterrorism. Counterterrorism for all of the world is a very important aspect of existence. And some of the countries are, of course, exhibiting double standards, which has been highlighted by PM in his first address in Brazil. But it's going to become even more important as we go along in the future. And it's going to impact all the countries of the world. Some countries are going to be impacted more. For example, Israel, which has already been impacted significantly, and India, which is right next to the epicenter of terrorism, which is Pakistan. So for these countries to have more countries of the world absolutely in line and sync with India on this issue is very, very important, so that they support India in its efforts globally also in the UN, because UN till today has not been able to define what is terrorism. So that sort of consensus building is also necessary, and also to create more synergy in the world against terrorism. So this will be an important MOU. Then agricultural research. Both countries are very prominent agricultural producers. So for them to sign, greater collaboration, greater cooperation, there'll be lots of exchanges, lots of learnings, best practices from both countries being understood by each other's agriculturists and experts, and delegations being exchanged. More detailed, granular attention will be given once the overall MOU is signed. So that will also bring in a lot of momentum and synergies in this sector. The fourth aspect is, of course, the confidential information, which is done by some countries which share the concerns. So to do that will be an important aspect. And then, of course, BRICS is another important pillar in the PM's visit to Brazil. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Kapoor, of course, as you are also rightly pointing out, the significance of the underlining MOUs that are being put in focus at this point of time at the BRICS 17 summit. What also remains to be coming out of these investment, the kind of thought that has been put in enhancing the kind of partnership with Brazil at this point of time. How do you look at this having a larger influence, with India being a very potential influence in the entire global south? Because remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also highlighted it very categorically that there have been challenges which have been faced by the nations of the global south, and these challenges have also given us a lesson in empowering ourselves in a better manner.
Yes, that is a very excellent point, because when we discuss about climate change, for example, the Western nations earlier were in this position of creating the narrative, of trying to impose their decisions on the world, and India had resisted very strongly against that, along with some of the other countries. And finally, a lot of changes were brought about in the entire formatting of the discussions on climate change, including for the COPs, where the Global South had a more prominent voice. Now, after that, a lot of decisions were taken, like CBDRs, common but differentiated responsibilities, which clearly stated that the advanced countries have a greater responsibility, common but differentiated responsibilities. Responsibilities are common, but differentiated in the sense that some countries have greater responsibilities, which was the Western world, which had created more pollution, which had done more damage to climate over the last century or two, and which was now asking the developing world to slow down on development itself because it was creating pollution, which was double standards. So that was tackled with the CBDR format. And then the other aspect was the INDCs, which was intended nationally determined contributions towards climate change. So on both these aspects, the Western world promised to the developing world that they would share more technology, more advanced technology, and more resources with the global south to help them cope with the challenges of climate change and cope with the challenges of development. That has not been done. So PM Modi has done the right thing by emphasizing that these are double standards, and it's about time for the Western world to realize that they have to play a fair game. Thank you.
Absolutely. In fact, former diplomat Pradeep Kapoor, his ambassador. Thank you, sir.